Hello out there. We're on the air. It's a curling afternoon in Oatland as we bring you the latest draw from the 2026 Mixed Fours Playdowns, part of the doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships. This is your host, Ryan Olson, and we're happy to bring you this featured game. We have Team Serna taking on Team Asis. Team Serna hails from several clubs, including San Francisco Coyotes and Phoenix, Arizona, and wine country just outside of Sacramento. And Team Asis hails from Silicon Valley, as well as Rock Creek Curling in Lafayette, Colorado, just outside of Denver. So we have four games on the ice this afternoon. They're about to start the game. It appears that Team Aces won the hammer, and so by the they had the closest to the center as part of their draw shot challenge after their practice. Letting you guys know the other games on the ice really quickly. You can keep track of the scores at bonspieler.com. Sheet A features Team Barajas taking on Team McDonald's. Sheet B is our featured game, Serna versus Aces. Sheet C, we have Team Gilbert taking on Team McBride. Then on Sheet D, we have Team McLean taking on Team Coleman. We have 9 teams in the field, so that means with the 8 teams on the ice, Team Endicott is the ninth team helping out in the warm room, timing the games. So we have getting ready to throw the first stone. This is the lead for Team Serna. This is going to be Justin Legg. So rocks in play. We are about to get underway here at the double Mixed Force Playdowns. Rock looks maybe just a little heavy to start, and it does slip into the rings as Jennifer Aces sweeps it through the house out of play. So just a smidge heavy, as I said. Teams have 30 minutes of thinking time. You'll see the clocks in the background as we have the lead for Team Aces get set. And this is going to be Jerry Mallory going for the out turn counterclockwise rotation. And I think looking for a corner guard, but this is going to slip into the rings and settle in on the tee line. That could have been the shot that was called. As you can see, it settled in just above the tee line. Pretty good place for it, although it looks like the skip forward Team Serna, that's Anto Serna, is going to just, I think, maybe ignore it for now. As we see Justin's second rock. Just based on the weight and rotation, I think they're looking to put up a center guard. So it looks like it's going to slip into the rings. Just barely, full 12 foot. So with the 2 rocks in the rings, Asis is going to pop out that Serna stone. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Happy to be here. It's always great to be here in San Francisco, and it's kind of great to see some of the changes that they've made over the years. Uh, and they just recently had a fundraising campaign to help with some emergency repairs and to help with the outreach for the Olympics. So it's great to see what San Francisco is doing, and they're everyone's playing with new rocks on the ice. Uh, I'm gonna joke say they bought the rocks for this event, but I think they bought the rocks before the event. So and not especially for mixed playdowns, although that'd be fun if they did. Second stone coming down the ice now for Team Serna. This is going to be Megan Grow. Looking to hit, got some action in the rings. There's a good tap, raised takeout, I guess. This is the second for Team Aces. This is Jacqueline Pitlars. And looking to split the rings. That looks really nice. There's a separation, but there's also they're not parallel to each other. So Serna could try to do a crosshouse double if she wanted to. It would be tricky, no doubt. So it looks like Serna's looking to hit and roll under with Megan's second stone. Got some weight on that one. Going to hit, but it hits on the outside, leading the shooter to roll toward the edge of the 12 foot. Not a bad outcome though. So it looks like they're trading hits back and forth. Fighting to hold the line. This is going to over curl slightly, over curl too much, leading to just a kiss, a tap of that Serna blue on the edge of the 12 foot. So unfortunately, a bit of a miss there. Now in the hack for Team Serna, this is going to be the vice skip, and it's going to be Dan Stephanie. Nice lightweight takeout to curl around the front stone and chip out that yellow in the ring. So Serna's putting on the pressure on Team Asis in early in this game, as it appears that Serna's sitting 3 blues. This is Andy Carl or Carly, hoping to hit and roll. Going to hit. It's going to roll, but it hit it at such an angle the shooter also rolls out of play. So 2 blues in the rings. Dan Stephanie is looking to add another one. Sweepers are on it. It looks like they needed it to kind of carry just a little bit. This is going to be more of a front stone or a guard. So Aces has a couple of outs. She could try to draw around, and that seems to be maybe what she's doing. So looking to draw around cover. This is just a little light. Looked like line was also a little wide as well, but I think a good attempt, just not quite on target. It is something that they'll be able to use later in the end, although we are to the stip stones already. So Anto Serna is getting into hatch for her first of two stip stones without the hammer here in this first end. And looks like she's trying to get around that cover. Weight looks a little up. And unfortunately, that's going to go through the house out of play. Just passing through, saying so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, adieu to that first rock from Anto. That line for the draw, I'm assuming they're trying to draw around the cover, and they have a little bit of a little bit of a margin of error with the yellow that's on in the guard zone, but that guard is pretty high up. As we have Jennifer Asis get set for her first. Let's see how much curl we're going to see here. My concern was that it's not going to curl up enough because they have the broom for more than 5 feet of curl, and we're seeing. I don't think we were seeing 5 feet. It looks like we were getting close to 4.5 feet though. So the broom was close, just a little too wide, and it was a bit heavy as well. But this is the team's first real game on the ice. They had a practice in the morning and they had a warm up just before the game. But trying to figure out the ice is always an important first step. So you can see Stephanie has drawn about a foot and a half to maybe 2 feet less ice, less broom than Team Asis's last shot. So we have Anto with her last rock looking to draw around. So looking to pull the weight back, and I think a little less weight. This weight looks a little better. Still a little on the heavy side, I would guess. Well, her rocks didn't seem to curl that much if she was on broom. It looks like that only curled about a foot and a half. That's going to be interesting to keep an eye on. So facing three though, so Anto, I don't know if they got to where they wanted to, but they ended up in a decent spot. They're sitting three. Looking to draw, I believe. As you have Jennifer Asis with her last rock here, the hammer in the first end. Draw 2 of the MoPac mixed playdowns. And this is just a draw. Needs to make sure it's full 8 foot for the second point. Looks like it's going to definitely, oh, it's hit the brakes right there, but it stops with a little bit of room to spare for a single point. So that was a good draw there by Asis to salvage a single point, but also good for Team Serna to force Team Asis to a single point. Pause in the action. We'll be right back as we continue with our ongoing coverage of the 2026 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships, coming to you live from the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. And ongoing coverage of this event is being brought to you by doubletakeout.com, offering up-to-date stats and rankings of the top men's and women's teams from around the world. More at doubletakeout.com. And by curling.gg. Curling.gg is proud to be an official sponsor of Team Canada's mixed doubles champions, Brett Gallant and Jocelyn Peterman. And by Endgame Curling. Elevate your game with Endgame Curling. Learn more at endgamecurling.com. And just like that, we are underway with the second end. Teams are playing very quickly, which is good. Kind of, I'm juggling a little bit more than I feel like I have before, but it's all good. That's what we're here for, to show these players and see how well they do in a competitive environment like this. Jeremy Stone goes into the rings. Seems like a good opening maneuver, although it definitely gives Serna a chance to tap it. Justin Legg pushing out of the hatch. Little fishtail there. Kept the stone on target though. Looks like it's going to hang on. They were definitely sweeping for line and weights and managed to make contact with the yellow in the rings. The shooter also goes out of the house, but still hangs on to the back of the playing surface, not scoring, but in play. Jeremy's second stone. I think looking to try to put up a center guard or go into the rings again with his second stone. This is going to go in the rings. It's going to hang on, and it will settle in the top 4 foot. So two solid draws there from Jeremy. Justin's second shot is away. And Justin's second stone is going to make contact and then stick around in the house this time. Have a nice roll, and so play has definitely been drawn into the rings. There's always kind of some interesting debates about how you set up an end. Do you want to start off with a guard and then draw around the guard, or do you want to go into the rings and kind of draw a play into the rings? And in this case, we know the answer. They've definitely drawn into the rings, as we see Jacqueline's first rock here. And that's going to just roll slightly back towards the center. Coverage of this end is being brought to you by doubletakeout.com. If you have a favorite men's or women's competitive curling team, you can visit doubletakeout.com to see how their team ranks or your team ranks against the others in the world. You can also sort by country, which is fascinating to see how the top U.S. teams fare against each other in Canada, Japan, and more at doubletakeout.com. Megan's takeout, it was successful. So these teams are both pretty well seasoned with many years of experience. Although this is over curling, I may have spoken too soon. That flashed, unfortunately. And I think these teams have also seen each other before, although maybe in different configurations. This does give Serna a chance to put another rock in the ring. So that's kind of the downside of going into to a takeout game is if you miss a takeout, then the other team has kind of a green light to ramp up the pressure. Weight's okay. It looks a little up, and so Asis is gonna let it slip to the back 8 foot. As we have Andy get set for his first. Have He has a little bit of weight on that shot, so I think they're looking to clear, although he was wide, and I think that's gonna flash, unfortunately. The weight wasn't bad. I think, sometimes, especially when you're starting out, like takeouts by definition are shots with enough energy to, get another rock out of play. But that, some people think that means you need to throw a lot of heat, a lot of energy, and you don't need to necessarily. So I think the weight was pretty good. It just was not on target. And so now this gives Serna a chance to put another one in the rings. And indeed, that is what Dan Stephanie does. He draws in, chips off of the shot stone in the top 8 foot, and then rolls to the back. A good shot there from Stephanie. So looking to try that takeout again. It gets one. That was close to making the double. So that was a good recovery by Andy. That's good for third shot. So it looks like Anto wants to just pop that out as Dan pushes out of the hat. A little wobble there. Trying to push it over a little bit. They don't want to have it jam on that blue in the back. It's going to be close. It wicks on the blue in the back. Gets the blue in the back out of play, and then the yellow Asis rock heads into the back 12 foot. So it's not a bad outcome. Just jamming when they probably didn't need to. When I got rid of one of the Serna stones I was counting in the house, so not a bad outcome. And after this end, we'll go around the rings to update you on the scores. And again, you can keep track of the scores at bonspieler.com. It's been it was a gorgeous day in the Bay Area. Just a little chilly, but that's winter in Northern California for you. But the sun was out, and the drivers were not horribly, the drivers were somewhat polite, which is always nice in an urban environment such as this area near the Oakland Coliseum. It's just happy to be in the Bay Area and happy to see all these teams, especially as we see Jennifer Asis get set for her first without the hammer. I think looking to draw around and looking for about 3 feet of curl. Weight was a little up. That's going to settle into the back 12 foot. It's now good for third shot. So Serna setting 1 and 2. And then Asis has 3 and 4 in terms of the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a little heavy. That line was actually really good. You can see where that ended up. So the broom is down for a draw, and I think they would like to be high. I think biting the 8 foot with Anto Serna's first rock with the hammer here in the second end. This is going a little deep. So they do have backing on the back 12 foot if it gets there, and I think that looks like it might. Ooh, it doesn't quite get there, as Andy is able to sweep it to the back 12 foot. And that is now the new fourth shot. So the broom is down for another draw. There's a lot of backing. That makes a lot of sense to draw into that pile if you need to. As you see Jennifer's last rock here without the hammer here in the second end. Weight looks similar to her last. Actually, it seems a little less, especially as Jacqueline is trying to coax it over. They would like to be shot, and it's not going to be shot. Comes up short. They wanted it to, I'm sure, be biting 4 foot at least buried. Ends up as a tight guard. And so now Serna's sitting 2 and has a chance for 3 with her last shot. So she's getting into the hack and definitely going to be able to cash in with the hammer here in this second end. Last rock to hammer coming from Anto Serna, known as Anto to her friends. Weight looks a little heavy. There is some backing, and like I said, I think I've been fooled by the way by how the rock travels before. But this is going to be heavy. It's going to not sit down in time, unfortunately. So left a point on the ice, unfortunately, but still good for two. So with that, Serna scores two to take a 2-1 lead over Team Asis. We're gonna take a pause in the action. I'm gonna get something to parch my throat or quench my parch my throat. I don't know. My throat is parched. I'm gonna quench my thirst. I'll be right back. Rocks in play. We are underway here in the third end of a possible 8 ends of regulation. Lots of games this weekend for the teams. This is probably the best deal in curling. Uh, Everyone's playing at least 8 games, and then there's a possibility of tiebreakers on Sunday as Justin's rock slides into the rings. It's very rare that I've seen an event where you get 8 games, especially at the regional level. Uh, we had 9 teams in the field, and I guess we had enough ice time and enough sheets of ice to be able to do a full round robin, which is awesome. Although, as I was saying, I think off the ice before the game, I do believe some of the determining factors for this event with 8 games is, a team's ability and talent, and also their endurance. It's going to be a long, but hopefully fun weekend. As Jeremy's rocked for the takeout, looks like it's on target. The shooter's going to go away though. Coverage of this end is being brought to you by by curling.gg. Curling.gg is growing fast and has partnered with Jamie Sinclair from the Curl Up with Jamie channel to bring more curling insight to fans everywhere. As we see Justin's nets rock head down the way. That's going to slip. Is it going to slip into the rings? No, I don't think so. That is a guard. It might be on the center line. It's kind of hard to tell. I'm going to use my zoom in and enhance function to see that it does not appear to be a center line guard. Bust out my mad CSI skills with a Z, but the Z is not where you think it would be. Looking to put up a corner guard. And that corner guard appears to be successful with the out-turn counterclockwise rotation. And in the realm of fun facts, the rotation intern outturn is based on the how your elbow rotates when you release the rock. And so if you're righty, if you do a counterclockwise, it's an outturn because your elbow is rotating outward. And if you're right-handed and you want to go clockwise, you rotate the elbow inward, so it's an intern. Now it's opposite if you're a lefty, although obviously the rotation, the revolutions, is similar. It's just the elbow position is different. I think looking for a gentle hit and roll might be the caller from Asis. It's going to hit, it's going to roll very much, and it rolls ever so slightly. So it looks like Anto has the broom down to hit and roll under their own guard towards the center. As Maiden's Rock is away. Hit and just a slight roll. So the broom is down for a hit and roll. As we see Jacqueline throw her second stone at the end. Looking to hit and roll, I think, towards the center. That's the best way to hit it. It's going to hit and not get much roll. Not a bad outcome. As we're going to switch to the camera's view that you can see what's going on. Stan and Stephanie get set. Line looked pretty good out of hand. A little wide, but it came back on target. It's going to roll wide. So it does get rid of that rock that's... It was the rock that was closest to being a troublesome stone. So it looks like Andy's being asked to try and draw around those corner guards. And it looks like his line and weight are better than the last end. This is going to go like a smidge deep. The line was pretty good, maybe just a smidge on the wide side. It does look like that's something that Serna can draw on top of if she wanted to. Looks like it's only about 20% covered. And Serna just wants Stephanie to draw on top of it. So sweepers are kind of on it. Looks like it's kind of in a spot where they can manage where the placement is going to be, which is pretty good. And that's probably where they wanted to be. I was thinking that they could be a little tighter in terms of like a little tighter to the rock in the rings, but they want to be on the on the inside of that stone just to make it harder to remove. As you see Andy with his second delivery. This is looking pretty good. Asis has the broom down. She wants it to be like right on the tee line. It doesn't quite get there. So the line was pretty much where she wanted it, but the weight is about 2 feet short, but not too bad. We are to skip stones here in the third end. I think I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, but teams have 30 minutes of thinking time to play 8 ends of regulation. It breaks down to about 3 minutes and 40 seconds an end. And then obviously at the end of the fourth end, you want to be at around 15 minutes. As the Serna is looking to, I think, pop out the yellow. And the shots made. The shooter's going to roll out of the house, out of play. And thinking time starts when the other team clears the sheet. So you basically have control. The clock starts when you have control of the sheet, and the clock stops when you deliver the stone past the tee line on the delivery side of the ice. So you basically, as you start pushing out, the clock will stop, give or take a second. So teams have been playing very well. I haven't seen anyone run out of time at a MoPac event, but it's gotten close. As we see Jennifer Asis deliver her first stone. And this is looking okay. I think the weight's been a little light, although not a bad place to be. It's partially buried. I do think they wanted to be a little tighter to the blue in the back, and be counting. They can't get rid of that yellow, but for Serna, they don't really need to. They're basically going to draw in and put another stone, probably top 8 foot is my guess. This is Anto's last rock here in the third end without the hammer. This is maybe looking to be a little heavy. That's slowing down though. These rocks, when they start to dig in, they dig in pretty well. Um, and that's not a bad place to be. Basically, just making it very hard for Aces to make any sort of play on the back blue. And so my thought before Cerna's last rock was you could throw heat and kind of clip the blue, and hopefully you have enough energy to get both the blue and the yellow backing stone moving out of play. The worst case scenario is that the blue would jam and stop, but ideally you want to try and score multiple points when you have the hammer. and that might have been the best way to do it. In this case, Serna took that option away, and so now the only option is to really draw. It was a good shot there from Serna. Last rock coming from Jennifer Asis, hailing from the Silicon Valley Curling Club. Uh, I think it might be fair to say they spun off of the San Francisco Curling Club. Looking to draw for a single point, and they got there. You see that yellow is full 8 foot, out counting the blue that's biting the 8 foot ring. So good for a single point. That was a good draw there. And we are tied after 3 ends, and we're going to take a pause in the action. We'll be right back to the 2026 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships. Welcome back to the 2026 Mixed Fours Playdowns, coming to you live from the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. As we see Jeremy for Team Aces put up a centerline guard. We are playing the no-tit rule for the first 5 rocks of every end. As Justin is getting ready for his delivery, let's go around the rings to update you on the scores that are also available on bondspieler.com. Sheet A features Team McDonald from Coyotes and Wine Country taking on Team Barajas from San Francisco. McDonald scored 5 with a hammer in the first end, and that's been the difference in that game as McDonald's up 5-2 after 2. So Justin ticks the yellow guard, but does not dislodge it off the center line. Sheet B is our featured game. You're watching it right now, I hope. Back and forth game as Asis was forced to a single, and then Serna converted the hammer with 2 in the second, and then Asis was forced again in the third. We're all square at 2. On sheet C, we have Team Gilbert from the Oval of Utah and Nashville, starting with a hammer, but have not been able to score yet. They're taking on Team McBride. McBride stole the first and the third end, and are currently up 2-0 over Gilbert. So McBride hails from Orange County and San Francisco. And then on sheet D, a fairly low-scoring affair through 3 ends. We have Team McLean of Coyotes taking on Team Coleman from San Francisco. Coleman blanked the first two ends and then converted the hammer with a two spot in the third, and that is the difference in that game. 2-0 the score, Coleman over McLean, and again those scores are being posted to bonspieler.com. So it looks like Justin flashed with that shot. So now Asis has a chance to kind of crank up the pressure. We have a crock pot in here. Otherwise, if we had a pressure cooker, my analogies would make more sense. I need to figure out how to incorporate Instapot into my curling commentary. Looking to draw around that guard. It's around the guard. Let's see where it's going to sit down. It's going to sit down in the back 12 foot. Good for shots, but behind the tee line. So Serna could draw on top of that if she chose. That's the fourth rock to the end, so the guard zone rule is in effect for one more stone. Megan Grow is delivering her first rock to the ends. Uh, you just see Anto just saying push it over as far as they can, and let's see how it finishes as Aces jumps on it. It's not going to get over enough and actually settles into the back of the rings. Looks like it might be just hanging on by the hair of his chinny chin chin, and indeed it is. This is Jacqueline's second stone. So second shot. This is her second draw around that guard, and the weight's been up, which hasn't been too bad. Well, I think they definitely would like to have the rock higher in the house if they could, but it's good for shot stone, and so now Aces is sitting three. Again, putting more Pirates pressure on those stones. Next strike coming from Megan. This looks like it might over curl. That does chip the center guard. The five rock rule is over, so they can tick or remove guards now without penalty. So there's a very narrow port for aces to draw down. So it looks like they're going to try and draw from left to right. As Andy delivers, just based on the sweatshirt, I'm going to presume he's from Rock Creek. So hoping to get around that blue guard, but they also don't want to wreck on the blue guard. So you can see Jacqueline just really sweeping the dickens out of that. It's not gonna get around it, but it just barely whips off of that blue and adds another guard to the mix. So Anto has the broom to draw around on the left side from this view. And Megan started sweeping right out of hand. I think they're looking to hit and roll. And so they're working to try to push it over, and it's just kind of hanging out. and not like in a grouping sense. So that yellow kicked the blue back onto the yellow, which jammed on the blue in the back. So, and then that yellow kind of rolled out of the ring. So not a bad outcome. Just kind of, I don't think that's what they wanted, but it worked out. And as Andy delivers his net stone, pardon me, this end is being brought to you by Endgame Curling. Let's see where this rock ends up. It looks like it's going to hit the yellow up into the reins, and then it could maybe split them both. Nope. Ooh. This, I think this potentially troublesome because it opened up the best path to the shot stones in the ring. So I would definitely have to count that as a miss, unfortunately. So Serna's looking to, I think, just draw around. It could be a little heavy. They could be going for it. I don't think they're going for the hit. This is Dan Stephanie's last rock. So looks like a draw. It looks like it's going to end up just behind the T line, the back button. It's in a place where Aces could hit and roll right. So that might be kind of what they're looking at here. And while they do that, just to let you guys know, with Endgame Curling, take your broom on the road with ease with the Endgame travel handle. It's a 100% carbon fiber three-piece travel handle is built for convenience and fits most carry-on luggage. Plus, it's compatible with the heads of other broom brands. Elevate your Bonspiel game with Endgame Curling. Learn more at endgamecurling.com. So it looks like that's what they're going to do in terms of the hit and roll. Again, this is probably where you don't need to throw a lot of heat at it. You also want to make sure that you get around those guards. Although you can see those guards really aren't too much of a factor for this shot, as Jennifer Asis is going to push out of the hack. So the rest of the way, the weight looks pretty good. They want to make sure they hit it on the right side and don't jam in the back, and they definitely do not do that. They lose the shooter, but I think that was I think likely to happen in hindsight. Donut or do nut. So looks like they're set up to do that draw again. The broom is in a very similar position to where Anto had the broom for Dan's last stone, as we see Anto push out of the hack. So it looks like they're going to be drawing onto the backing, and it is going to be good 4 shots, just by a skinny sliver. I say a skinny sliver. It's probably about a third of a rock. That was a good shot there by Anto. So Asis could, throw heat and get rid of the blue, and this kind of also essentially kind of force Serna to draw for a single point. Uh, but also the pile is there, so it's also if Aces doesn't need to remove that blue stone, kind of force Serna to make the tricky shot. Curling's a interesting sport because you want to maybe take the shots that have the best possible outcomes for you, and then leave the shots with the tricky execution or the worst outcomes to the other team. So I bet she's going to draw on top of the blue and maybe stick a little to the right of the blue in the back. This is over curling though. Mmm. So it's shot right now. I think blue is still second shot. Hard to say though. It's a very near thing. I could see yellow potentially being the second shot. But basically, it's going to force Serna to make a tricky shot. Also, you can see that it's kind of buried behind the guards, although not too much. So there's only really one path of attack, and Serna's going to just try and draw on top of the yellow. So that was a good well executed shot by Asis. Last rock, the hammer coming from Anto Serna. We're going to take a 5-minute pause. Looking to draw on top. Also, it doesn't have to go back to the pile if they don't need to. uh, Maybe looking for a plan B to chip off the yellow and roll towards the center, and that's what they do. Settles right on the pin for one. I don't know if that's how they drew it up, but that, if the shot works out, that was the shot. And so Anto made the shot to score a single point in the fourth end to take a 3-2 lead. So we're heading into the fourth end break, a 5-minute pause in the action. And we will let you guys know what's happening when we come back to the 2026 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships live from Oakland, California. Coverage of this event is being brought to you by doubletakeout.com, offering updated statistics and rankings of the top men's and women's teams from around the world. Doubletakeout.com. And by curling.gg. Curling.gg has just launched a new beta feature that lets you upload photos and recreate real curling scenarios. Check it out and give it a try. And by Endgame Curling. Elevate your game with Endgame Curling. Learn more at endgamecurling.com. We'll be right back. And we're back. Rocks and play. We are underway here in the fifth end. I did to update the score card one more time. See here. As we see Jeremy Mallerit's first rock for the end with a hammer. Team Serna is holding on to a 1 point lead over Team Asis. And it looks like Jeremy was able to put up a corner guard there. So we have fun facts about all the players. So I get to kind of introduce you to the teams. And so for your Justin Lade, he's been curling for 6 + 7 years, or 6-7, I suppose. That would be 13. Although he hasn't been to this event before. He's a proud Travolta Cup winner, which is kind of the kind of the not quite a consolation game, but just kind of a last chance game at a Bonspiel, especially here in San Francisco Bay Area. I'm trying to remember that because they have a similar cup up north that they call it the Celine Dion Cup. And it's just the teams that are eliminated, people who want one more game on the ice can sign up for it and get one more game during the championship, and they have something to play for, which is the Travolta Cup in the case of San Francisco Bay Area. So Jeremy has been curling for 10 years. He's been at this event twice before, in 2020 and 2019. Looking for a draw around. Doesn't quite, it draws, but not quite around. Some of his other experience includes being at Arena Nationals, winning bronze in 2022, and also appearances in 2019 and 2018. And we see Megan drawing around on the other side of the ice, going for the intern counterclockwise rotation. This is around the center guard. Looks like it might get into the rings, and it does. It's good for shots. So right now, Team Serna is sitting 1 and 3, and Aces has the second shot. So not liking the guard situation. Aces has the broom down for the takeout. Jacqueline has been curling for 4 years. Was at the event in 2024. Was also the winner of the Tahoe Tessie 500 qualifier this year as the skip, and only manages to chip the guard before going through the house and out of play, harmlessly out of play. So Megan's been curling for 12 years. Has been at MoPac events, MoPac Club Women's events, going back to 2013, where she won playing lead. And then she's also been at the event in 17 and 23. Uh, I think looking to draw around, but doesn't quite curl up and actually promotes the yellow into the ring. So it's an unlucky miss there by Megan. That yellow is now shot. Jacqueline's second rock is away. She notes that her favorite bonspiel is the North Hill Curling Club Cross Border Bonspiel. That's just outside of Alberta. Well, it's just outside of Calgary. Alberta is huge. It's like saying an event's just outside of California, which might be true in some contexts, but doesn't help too much. And then she's also the teammate most likely to book an Airbnb 6 months in advance, which is super helpful. And her effort to clear the guard was much more successful this time, as we see Dan and Stephanie get into the hack. So we got Dan and Stephanie looking to draw or maybe make contact with that yellow in the reins, but it looks like it's not going to curl up enough. And it's going to kind of, be a traveling salesperson and just go through the house without making a sale, if that analogy works. I don't know if it does. So this is Andy. He's been curling for 12 years. He's throwing some heat, so looking to pop out that blue, and it looks like it's going to make contact. And definitely, oh, lots of energy there. Just that blue went flying through the house. The shooter's going to stick around, and I think this fourth shot. So right now, Asis with the hammer is 1 and 2 and 4, and there's a lone Serna stone in the back 12 foot. That could come into play later as we're in the 54th end. So Dan Stephanie is delivering his second rock to the end. Dan has been curling for quite a long time. Hits the yellow in the top of the house. Definitely clears one of the stones away. Leaves a center guard to contend with. Dan's been curling for so long. He's been curling for 13 years. Uh, he's been at the event in 23, 24, and 25, noting that he's won the participation award, which is new to me. I've been coming to these events for quite some time, and I don't remember giving out participation awards, but maybe. So Aces is calling for sweep, looking to get around that center guard. There's some backing, so they do touch it, and I'm not quite sure. They stopped sweeping just a hair early. I don't know if they kept sweeping, if it would have affected things too much. So it doesn't set up a double. That was kind of what I was like doing the oh man, because it's possible to do a double, but I think it's not highly likely, because that center that blue guard on the right. It's possible though. So Anto Serna is getting set for her first throw without the hammer here in the fifth end. Uh, Anto's asked me to make up information about her. This rock is curling too soon. Might open things up. But Anto won the local "So You Want to Be a Curler" contest. We drew her name out of a hat, like a literal hat, and she did like a learn to curl last weekend, and she's on the ice this weekend, ready to play. So, and insisted on being the captain or the skip of the team. So just definitely appreciate the bravura, uh, or her moxie. So Aces is sitting 3 right now, and so Aces has an opportunity. And I think they're just looking to make sure they can secure things. Uh, the question is, how do you secure things? Because you can't guard all the positions, and they're sitting 3 right now. The rocks on the right are the ones closest to the center, so you want to hopefully keep those in play, but you also want to make it harder for Serna to draw into the rings to outcount them. So it looks like they're looking to put up maybe like a front stone, maybe kind of close that gap or just be on the inside of that yellow that's just to the right of the center line. That's my guesstimate. As we see Jennifer Asis delivering her first rock. She's been curling for 11 years. She was at Mitt's Playdowns in 2024 playing third. And she's also been to Arena Nationals. In 2024, she was the champion, and then in 2023, it was the runner-up. Uh, Not a bad outcome. I think they may have wanted to keep it. Oh, it's hard to say. I suggest maybe they wanted it to stay a little higher, but then it might make it easier for Serna to do a hit and roll, and that could be exactly where Aces wanted it. Let's look at the overhead. It's pretty well clogged up, and Serna could try to hit that middle yellow. So kind of the yellow that's just in front of the O, and this is Alone land, and then kind of roll under. I, they're suggesting maybe a double or a triple, and this could be full damage control now. She could try to go for a double to make it to not give up five, because five is very much on the table right now. They do have plenty of time to talk about the situation. They should be playing the second half of the game, four ends in about 15 minutes, and so they just went under the 15-minute mark with this last stone. So based on where Stephanie has the broom, you can see normally when you call a curling game as a skip, you want to use the tee line for draws and guards because it's easier to try to like measure the curl that way because the tee line doesn't change. It's a singular point of reference. However, for a takeout, you want to put the broom next to the first rock you want to hit, and so the broom is set to where they want to hit that middle yellow. As we see Serna push out of the hat, facing four, trying to avoid giving up a crooked number. So it hits the yellow that was closest to the center line, and then the shooter rolls wide. So unfortunately, it appears that a crooked number Serna shall give, as Asis is sitting three and has a pretty open draw for a fourth point. So crazy how these games go back and forth. Last rock, sitting three, chance for four. This is Jennifer Asis with the hammer. Needs to be basically biting the 8 foot, and it looks like it's right on the money. Count them up. That is a four spot for Jennifer Aces. And a technical timeout. Not quite sure why they called the technical timeout. Not quite sure what's going on. One thing that I do know is that the score is now 6-3 in favor of Team Aces. Well played end by the Silicon Valley and Rock Creek teams or team. So we do have the competitive chair coming out, and I just maybe called a timeout to let people know about a measure somewhere? Not on our sheet. So the end is over. Let's look around the range just to see what's going on. So we can see, looking at our overhead. Let's stick with the measure as we see Kevin, the competitive chair, do the measure. It looks like it might be yellow from the overhead. This is on sheet 1. The contest between Team Barajas with the blue stones and Team McDonald with the yellows.
I see back line. Yeah.
It was blue. My goodness. Okay. I was wrong. So with that measure, it looks like Team Barajas is drawn within 1 of Team McDonald. McDonald is currently holding on to a 5-4 lead, and that game is on sheet A or sheet 1, depending on who you ask. All right, shifting our attention back to our feature sheets. We see Justin push out of the hatch. So Jeremy, with his first rod for Team Aces, put up a center guard. This is going to go into the rings. Is it going to get Is it going to get buried? Very much, I guess. Not very much, as it is open for Asis, and Asis is calling for. I don't think she called for a lot of weight. Well, it looks like she called enough. Maybe she was gesturing for the hack weight, but it was enough weight to get rid of the stone. So good shot there by Jeremy. And Jeremy's favorite bonspiel was the Moray International bonspiel in Elgin, Scotland. And she was the teammate, or he was the teammate most likely to be caught on video making a face about a Stips call, which is kind of funny. And then his walk-up song is the Rebirth of Slick by Digital Planets, or Diggable Planets. So that draw, very nice, past the center guard and settles in the back 4-foot. Looks like it pokes out slightly on the other side. So Aces is going to try to do a heavy draw on top of it, it seems. That was a much better draw by Justin. So based on where Aces has the broom, it looks like they're going to try and run the yellow back onto the blue. Do for a run back or raise takeout. It raises, it takes it out. Good shot there by Jacqueline. So Megan's first stone of the end. Looking to draw around. Ends up in the just about the tee line on the forefoot as Jacqueline very quickly delivers a takeout attempt. Calling for sweep. It looks like it's on the money. I think they're hoping for a little bit of a roll, and they get a little bit of a roll. Good shot there by Jacqueline. So Megan's second stone, looking to clear the guard, peel the guard. Megan learned to curl class at the Ice Den at Coyotes Curling. That was the ice arena that they played at before they got dedicated ice. So that kind of is a throwback as she was able to make the takeout. Also, just kind of shows the progression of time as we have Andy get set. This is gonna settle in the back, I believe, and not quite curl up as much as they had hoped. And actually, it's gonna go through the rings out of play. Uh, Mark that as a miss. Coverage of this end is being brought to you by Endgame Curling. Elevate your game with Endgame Curling. Endgame's 100% carbon fiber brooms feature either a 7.5-inch or 9-inch head, use eco-friendly fabric, offer adjustable pivot resistance, and provide a unique locking sliding position to help you deliver with confidence. Reach the next level with Endgame's leading edge curling brooms. Learn more at endgamecurling.com. So Dan Stephanie's draw around looks to have been successful. And it looks like Andy is just throwing some heat down the ice, hoping to open things up. And it peels the front stone. So Serna is sitting one, and is it a chance to get at least two back to this end after giving up four in the last end, which happens. It's not uncommon for even good teams to go down a couple points. It's the challenge, and shows a team's mettle if you're able to kind of come back from a deficit. And the 3-point deficit's not insurmountable. I've been in worse situations. I lost, but I've been in worse situations. So I think Cerna would have liked to have been in the rings, but that's not an awful place for that stone to have ended up. although it does leave, I would say, about half of the shot stone in the back exposed. And so Asis is just going to take that on and plonk it out. And plonk is a technical term. So for Jennifer Asis, some of her fun facts include her favorite bonspiel experience was the 2025 Rock Creek Green and Gold bonspiel. She's the teammate most likely to squirrel away snacks, and her walk-up song is "Fighter" by Christina Aguilera, which I would need to hear because I was about to do "Genie in a Bottle," which is not "Fighter." So just kisses that blue shot stone, and the shooter rolls away. So just a kiss and miss, I guess you might call it. So Anto Serna is getting a set in the hat. Trying to think of fun facts about her. She actually started curling because she won a golden ticket in a box of nerds, and it was like you won a trip to go curling, and it was kind of weird because nerds has never done a curling contest like that, but she won anyway, and that's how she ended up on the ice. This is her second game on the ice, by the way. So with two Serna stones in the reins, Aces is going to at least make one of those go away. Maybe be content to give up 2 points here. I think Aces is looking to maybe get a little lucky and roll under that center guard. It's not going to roll. Maybe go for the double. Oh, it just kisses that back blue. But it does the goal of getting rid of at least one of the Serna blues. And so now, with already one rock in hand, Serna is going to slide down the ice and draw for two. All she needs to do is touch paint for a second point. Last rock coming from Anto Serna. Looking to touch paint for just a single point. Sweepers are on it. They don't want to crash on the guard. That's that'd be kind of the wrong way to miss. And it looks like it is going to crash on the guard. Trying to coax it in, but it's not going to get there. So just a single point for Serna. So Serna gets a single point to draw within two. Pause in the action. We'll be right back to the 2026 DoubleTakeout.com MoPac Championships. Welcome back to our coverage of the 2026 mixed fours competition. You guys might be more familiar with the mixed doubles, which is an Olympic discipline. Obviously, mixed doubles are two players, a man and a woman, and mixed fours is four players. So mixed fours is like mixed doubles, but just twice as many. Not, in some regards, of course. As we see Jeremy throw his first rock of the end, Justin's first stone turned out to be a center-ish guard, not quite on the center line. So mixed doubles has a different number of rocks that are in play during a game. 5 stones per team are delivered, and there's 1 stone per team pre-positioned, so 6 total stones per team. Mixed fours is a very more. It's much more similar to the 4-person regular game, where there's 8 total stones per team. Mixed fours also alternates between men and women, so man, woman, or woman, man, woman, woman, man, woman, man. So that draw around by Justin looks pretty nice. And so just like mixed doubles, mixed fours, there aren't any substitutes because it's really hard to substitute in players just because you need to have this very specific lineup for both mixed doubles and mixed fours. Mixed fours is one of the few regional events that can lead to a world championship appearance, I believe. Um, we have competitive competitions for men's and women's club playdowns. We also have mixed fours, is what we're watching right now. We'll be back in late January for the 5 and under Bonspiel, which has a berth to nationals. And then we also have the Arena Nationals, Arena Playdowns coming up later this year. So that looks like a good draw there by Jeremy with a second rock. So that was good for second as we see the next rock coming from Megan. Trying to push it over. Has a long way to go. Yeah, it looks like it's going to settle into the top, not biting the edge of the rings. Megan has a rescue dog named Lucy, also known as Lucy Pickles, Lucy Blankhead, Lucy Sweaty Paws. When she's not curling, Megan is a sales manager for Top Golf and has a side hustle consulting with a consulting biz called Vino Pump. So Jacqueline is throwing her first, looking to run the blue back. Interesting sequence there. Runs the blue onto yellow. Let's see if I can check out the replay there. That sort of worked. Trying something new. Didn't quite work. It's definitely hoping to avoid the YouTube interface. What did work was Megan's takeout of the yellow in the rings. At least he didn't play an ad. Oh, kiss and miss, unfortunately, with the out-turn counterclockwise rotation. So right now the situation in the house is Serna sitting 1 and 3, and Asis sitting second shot. As we see the over-the-shoulder view of Dan Stephanie's first stone. I think looking to pop out at least one of the blues. This is going to be a draw. Actually, and they're blue. They don't want to pop out their stones. I think they want to kind of do a split if they can. So it's around the front blue. It's going to settle in the back 8-foot, biting the edge of the 8-foot ring. Aces has the hammer holding on to a 2-point lead in the 7th end of a possible 8 ends of regulation. The broom is down for Andy. Going for the clockwise in turn. Throwing some heat. Sorry. So it looks like he was successful. So Serna's now sitting 1-2, and Aces has the third stone. Serna has the broom down for a hit and roll. So I thought they were going to hit, but actually it looks like it's more of a draw. And that settles into the back 12-foot zone. Serna's now sitting 3, so just again a lot of pressure being put on Asis here in the 7th end. They're holding on to a 2-point lead, but we can see a 2-point lead go away pretty quickly, especially if the end continues the way it is right now. I just the saving grace for Team Aces is that the shot stones, well, one of the shot stones is in the back of the tee line, so it's possible for Aces to draw on top of it. I think that is kind of what this shot is set up for with Andy's second stone. Trying to push it over. I don't know if it's going to come back enough. Actually, it ends up in a pretty good spot. So now Asis is sitting 1, and now Serna, I think, is going to try to force or maybe steal. There's only one more end after this of regulation, so I'm curious. I'm thinking about what Serna's endgame strategy is here. Has a decent amount of energy out of the hatch. I think she's looking to maybe pick out that yellow in the back and just ends up running the yellow back onto the blue, and then the shooter's going to roll wide to the bottom or the left, depending on who you ask. So Aces is sitting shot. It's exposed, and so Aces is looking at finding like kind of like closing that side of the ice to prevent Serna from kind of drawing right on top of the yellow or popping it out. So I think they're looking to put a stone. I would think full 8 foot in front of the yellow, kind of in the N in land, is kind of where I think it would go. Um, and that seems like it might be the best place to put it. People in the chat are talking about the song that we had for the seventh inning stretch, and I'm curious about what song people were singing. I was doing "Bye Bye Bye" just because it's still in vogue, even though that song is not by In Vogue. But what song should we sing during the seventh inning stretch? This is a little heavy. Not a bad outcome, although it leaves open the full 4 foot for Serna to draw to, or kind of draw to the corner of the yellow, kind of where the broom is right now. So if they basically draw to the corner of the yellow, then Aces would be forced to draw for a single. That might be the strategy, is to force Aces to a single and then try to score 3 with the last end with a hammer. Someone suggested Wonderwall. I mean, today was going to be the day, but they're never going to throw me back to you. And by now, you should have somehow realized what you got to do. And what Anto needs to do here is to draw, I believe. Looking to draw on top of the yellow. This weight is okay. Sweepers are working to get every inch they can. Not too shabby. Although Aces can pick that out and score at least 2. I think that's what they got to do. So Anto did fairly well to force Aces to make a tricky shot, but Aces still has a chance to score 2. Another foot would have been just bonzer. By the way, that blinking 10 clock it's an homage to the VCRs of yesterday. It's part of our ongoing salute. It's a public art installation, actually. We had a $50,000 grant for public art in this building, and that was what we decided to spend $50,000 on. It was over budget though; it was actually $75,000. But it's a salute to VCRs. Timeout on the ice as all of Team Aces comes down to talk about the situation. Um, I think what they got it. I think they got to take it on because we haven't talked about it yet this event, but you kind of look at what the pros and the cons are. Is the risk, how much of a risk is it versus how much of a reward is it? And the risk is, I think, giving up a steal of one. I don't think they would give up two unless something really insane happened. Even in that case, it would be tied with a hammer coming home. So that is the risk. The reward, if they pluck out that blue, they're scoring two, and basically takes the game almost out of reach away from Serna. So I think that's what they got to do. That's what the broom is down for. The clock is ticking again, and I said they were okay on time, and Aces is not okay on time right now. They have one more end to go, and they are in sort of in the danger zone right now. They would need to play the next end pretty quickly, but they do have adequate time. This is the last rock, a chance for two. Looking for a takeout. The line looks okay. They want to hit the outside of the blue. It looks like it's okay. It's going to hit the blue. Beautiful. That's the way to do it. So they made the risk and they got the reward. That is a two spot for Team Aces to take an 8-4 lead over Team Serna with one more end to go. And as we take a brief pause in the action, as I understand, the blinking clock is not an homage to the VCR, which would be hilarious. It's actually, I guess, used during league play to kind of let players know how much time they have left in their league night. Not as fun, but definitely more useful, I would say. So heading into the last end, before we fully get underway, just want to let you all know that coverage of this end is being brought to you by curling.gg. They are our broadcast sponsor, so we're being brought to you on the curling.gg network. Curling.gg has just launched a new beta feature that lets you upload photos and recreate real curling scenarios. Check it out and give it a try. Curling.gg. Jeremy's first route goes through the house. As we have Justin's first rock. So down four with the hammer. Serna needs lots of rocks in play, and Ace's strategy is going to be make sure there aren't a lot of rocks in play. Tale as old as time. Beauty and the Beast. I don't know who the Lumiere is in this situation, though. I do know who the Cogsworth is, though. I won't say who, but I know who the Cogsworth is. So Justin puts up a center dart. Looks like it's on the center line, so it cannot be dislodged until after the 5th rock to the end. Another throw through by Jeremy, doing kind of the victory formation. The victory formation, the throwing through is kind of generated some controversy, at least on the league and club playdown levels, because some people, feel like it kind of doesn't improve the winning team situation, and basically just gives the team that's down more opportunities to get back into play. And I understand that the goal for throwing through is to make it harder for the team that's down to have opportunities. You want to deny rocks in play, um, which is it's a fairly defensive strategy to minimize the rocks in play. Offensive strategy is to have more rocks in play to generate more offense. Um, Another guard there by Justin, as we have another throw through by Jacqueline Pitlars. That was the 5th rock to the end, though, so that throw through strategy is over now, and you will expect Aces to start clearing rocks, unless the situation is where they need to, basically minimize the scoring area. Um, but I think they want to reduce scoring opportunities. And I think ultimately my kind of take on the throwing through is, if you are an okay hitting team or a good hitting team, it's a very valid strategy. If you are bad at takeouts, especially late in the end, then it doesn't really behoove you to throw through. That draw there by Maiden was successful. And the Team Aces is playing pretty fast. Yeah, they are kind of short on time, although they seem to be back in the zone now, with the three throw throughs and a takeout. This is Megan Grows, second stone. So now for Serna, the guard zone is over, so they don't get any guards that can stay in place. Aces can remove the guards at will, and so now they need to find places to hide to get 4 points. It's a tall order. It's not impossible, but it's a tall order. And so Serna and Megan put up a front stone, and Aces is going to clear it away, setting up a possible double. I think Serna would have liked to have been in the range, but it's okay. Some some conversation to make sure Aces is on the same page as a team on the next shot. Uh, 2 minutes and 12 seconds. We are to third stones though, so they have 2 minutes to throw 4 rocks basically. Now 3 rocks. Definitely going to get one of the stones, or they're going to get two. It looks like they will. And that is a double takeout, brought to you by doubletakeout.com. Let's see the replay if we can. Eh, sort of a replay. It sort of works. I'll try to find something else. Next rock coming from Dan Stephanie. This is his first. Looking to draw in. This could be close to the last of the game, because Team Serna would only have 3 rocks after this, and Asis can just pop this stone out and essentially run Serna out of stones. Not entirely. There might be one more shot after this. Andy's next stone. So that's a good clearing stone by Andy. 2 good takeouts. So Serna needs to make sure that this rock is in the house and somehow bring that blue that's in the guard zone into play. It's a tricky proposition. Looking to get around the cover. Looks like the line is okay. It's tight on the guard, but it just kisses the guard and will roll to the top of the house. So not a bad outcome, but they wanted to be buried. And so basically now this could be for surezies the possible end of the game. For realsies. I'm sure I've heard Al Michaels use the word for realsies or the phrase for realsies during a NFL game. Jennifer Asis with her first without the hammer here in the 8th end. Makes contact and that blue stone goes away. And it's going to be handshakes as Team Serna is out of stones. Make the final 8-4. Team Aces over Team Serna. We are playing an 8-game round robin, 9 teams. So 9 teams, 8 games. So lots of games to go in this weekend, including our next game coming up at 9 o'clock tonight. It's our MoPac After Dark, which is just fun to say. I love MoPac After Dark. Our 9 o'clock game tonight, Pacific time, is Team McDonald's taking on Team Endicott. And we definitely hope you'll join us at that time. 9 o'clock Pacific time. Check your local listings for more information. So while that game is wrapping up, let's take a look around the rings and see how the other games are going, and then we might sign off for this draw. So looking around the rings, again, all these scores are being posted at bonspieler.com. On sheet A, we have a 2-point game between Team Barajas and the Blue Stones taking on Team McDonald. McDonald's holding on to a 2-point lead. And they are sitting 1 right now in the 8th end. Sheet B is our game that just finished. Team Asis 8-4 winners over Team Serna. Sheet C, we have a 1-point game between Team Gilbert and Team McBride. McBride is holding on to a 1-point lead. Looks like we are to skip stones. Let's pop in on that game and see how it's going. And not just because Gilbert's for my home club. So this looks to be maybe the last rock for Team Gilbert. They need to be sitting shot after this. It's coming up a little light. They might be shot already. So they might be looking to protect the zone. And so McBride is looking at the situation in the house. And so that's why I think they were taking a very close look to make sure that McBride needed to throw his last. McBride needs to draw for a single point to take a 2-point win. McBride is throwing the yellow stone. Team McBride hails primarily out of OC Curling, but they also have curlers from San Francisco Bay Area Curling, including the vice skip Claire Blasky, who has the broom down. And this is Justin McBride, previous champion in this event. His last rock, the hammer, coming in the 8th end on sheet 3. Sweepers are just kind of cleaning right now. This looks like it's a little heavy, but I think they're looking to maybe see if they can make contact on the stone in the back. And it looks like they may have it. The rings are a little interesting with the rainbow patterns. So they might do a measure just to be sure, but I think it looks like it might be McBride, and Gilbert seems to agree. So that is the final. Team McBride, a 2-point winner over Team Gilbert. Team Gilbert's looking for their first win of this event, but that was a close game. Continuing our trip around the rings, the last game. Oh, it looks like, okay, so sheet D just wrapped up, and we have, on sheet D, we have Coleman, the 6-4 winners over Team McLean. Let's pop over to sheet A and see how that game is going to end up, because why not? So McDonald is 2 points, has a 2-point advantage over Team Barajas. McDonald has the hammer. And we are to skip stones. This is the first stone from Team McDonald's, skipped by Andy McDonald from Coyotes. So right now Barajas is sitting 1, and will need to be sitting 2 after McDonald's is shot. So this is kind of a bit heavy, which I think she might be okay with. I think she may have wanted to, I think the goal was to be a little heavy as opposed to being a little light. Although if she put up a guard on that right side, Barajas would not have a path on that side. So basically, Barajas can draw on that right side. If she was a little bit lighter, it could have given Barajas a hit and roll. So she definitely did not want to be too. The sweet spot or the miss would have been, I think, a guard. Although this miss to be deep was also not too shabby. Barajas is calling their timeout. So Barajas is looking at a draw around the guard on the right side. Team Barajas curls out of San Francisco Bay Area Curling. And Team McDonald hails from Coyotes Curling as well as Wine Country Curling. Primarily Coyotes, but they have their lead, Brian Feldman Jr., hailing from the Wine Country Club just outside of Sacramento in Bonnie Roseville, California. This is Jesus Barajas' last stone. Needs to be shot. Needs to be sitting 2 after this. They're sitting 1 right now. Sweepers are trying to coach it over. This is a little heavy. Maybe looking for a plan B, but I don't think it's going to come back. That's curling now. So they are sitting 2. They are sitting 2. I don't know if that's how they wanted to do it, but they are 2. So Andy McDonald will have to throw her last stone, facing 2. And setting up for the hit. So just make that blue on the right go away, and McDonald will secure a 1-point win. This is the skips. This is the hammer coming from Andy McDonald. The last rock in the 8th end of regulation. Feldman and Collins are on the stone to make sure it makes contact. Just needs to make the blue go away. And that blue will go enough to be outcounted by 2 of the yellows. And it looks like McDonald got shot out of this. So handshakes. At the very least, McDonald won the game. But the silver lining might be that McDonald got a point to take a 3-point win on the game. But a win's a win, especially in this competition. So make the final there. Team McDonald with the victory. Unsure if it's 8-5 or 7-6, but regardless, it's a win for McDonald. So that will wrap things up for our 4:30 draw. We'll be back on the air at about 9 o'clock Pacific tonight for our MoPac After Dark. Our times tomorrow are different, by the way. So definitely check bonspiler.com for our times. Um, on our feature sheet B, we had Team Asis securing an 8-4 win over Team Serna. And until then, just thanks again to our sponsors. So thanks to our sponsors as I pull that up. Thanks to our sponsors, doubletakeout.com, offering rankings of the top men's and women's teams at doubletakeout.com, and by curling.gg, our broadcast partner. Proud to be the official sponsor or an official sponsor of Team Canada's mixed doubles champions, Brett Gallant and Jocelyn Peterman, as well as Endgame Curling. Elevate your game with Endgame Curling. Learn more at endgamecurling.com. So until 9 o'clock tonight, on behalf of all of us here at MoPac and the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club, and with deep thanks to our sponsors, this has been your host, Ryan Olson, saying good afternoon and good curling.